Saturday night.
Time for your weekly dose of pop culture
With Kathy and Kenny. Welcome to the show.
Hello and welcome. Welcome to Kathy and Kenny Explain Pop Culture. We are here with you on yet another Saturday night. And just thanks for hanging out with us. It's Kathy and Kenny, and we are pop culture kids. We talk pop culture every Saturday night. Kenny, how are you this Saturday night?
I am great this Saturday night. How are you doing?
I am tired. I can tell you that.
Me too.
It was some work today. I was doing some work in the storage area, and then I had lawn work that my neighbor has been so nice. He's been actually mowing the lawn for me, but I have all these hoses and I needed a place to put them. So I got this little bench that you can sit on when when you're not using it for storage. And I actually, put all my hoses and stuff in the bench. So that was kind of cool. It's just one of those days.
Now today we are talking about Black influences in music. And yesterday I had the opportunity to hang out with one of those influences. The influence is not on our list, but this person is definitely an influence. Yesterday I got to perform in front of Grandmaster Melle. What a great time that was, meeting him and hanging out with him. And Grandmaster Melle has a braided beard just like me. So
I'm sorry.
a good company with my baby. Huh?
What was that again?
Grandmaster Melle has a braided beard just like I do.
Oh, get out of here.
Yes, I am. I saw him first time I saw him. We standing next to each other. I go, yo, all right for the braided beard club. He's like, yeah, and we called each other and everything. And it was good. It was all good. He was a nice guy.
Oh, that's so cool.
We performed, and then at the end of the whole show, it was a stop the gun violence peace concert that was going on in the Bronx. And I got on the bill through a friend of mine. And there was some notable people there from different old school rap groups. And Grandmaster Melle, of course, was there. He did his one thing, like a jungle sometimes. He did the message. But yeah, it was a good experience. I got to go on right before him. So, it was nice. We were hanging out. I took a picture with him. I sent you the picture. I don't know if you want to show it. My friend, my old singer from one of my bands, Pamela Grant, calls herself Pam B. She was with me in New York, and she accompanied my spoken word with song behind it. So we performed, and they really liked what we did. And Grandmaster Melle said, hey, man, we're going to be doing this again soon. And I said, let us know. We're in the house.
Okay,
let us know. We'll be back.
I didn't see the picture. I got a video of you playing bass.
Oh, no, not that one. Don't play that.
Okay. I didn't know whether you wanted me to play that or not.
No, this week is the first time I actually played bass with my spoken word. So, I got out there. People kind of liked it, and it was kind of cool. So, but Grandmaster Melle was a good guy, and he had a lot to say about the violence and the gun violence and how the music of hip hop has turned from when he did it and the way it is now, and how
right? I mean, that is so true, because when you think about, and again, Grandmaster Flash, Melle, the message. Yes. It's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how to keep them going on. It was like, it reminded you of The Last Poets, because there was a message. Like,
yes,
the music was reflecting what was going on in the community, and it was to me, even though the message might have been one of kind of despair, but still it put a more positive light on rap. And I don't know where that change was made, where it became more about glorifying like misogyny and drugs and and just ridiculousness, which to me is, if you ask me my opinion, is like the second form of enslavement, because
Yes.
it's just holding us back. But I digress. I'm not even going to
Well,
get into.
that's you know what? That's a show worth doing. Let's see if we get some
But,
rappers and hip hop
again,
people.
when rap meant something and says
Yes.
something, and it's weird because there's certain artists too who, when you look at their music, it might have been about something, but then again.
Well, one of the things that was mentioned yesterday was that someone said on the podium that because a lot of people gave speeches. There was a woman that was representative of Joe Biden's office there also that yesterday, giving a speech and whatnot. And there was different groups in the Bronx giving speeches, and there was some other people who were supposed to be there, but they couldn't be. But there's some other activists who were supposed to be there, but they were down in Florida for the young lady who got killed through the doorway.
Oh, okay. See, and this is how bad I am, because I'm not even aware of this story.
Yeah, it's a young black lady who was killed defending her child, and an older white lady shot her through the door.
Oh, you are kidding me.
And she's trying to claim stand your ground or self-defense, but it's one of them things. And I don't think they've charged her with manslaughter yet or whatever. I don't know what the deal is.
Another act of Planned Parenthood.
Yes. So
I saw that on Black Twitter, and I was just like, what? Oh, I like that one.
Yeah, Planned Parenthood. And so, but it was a good event, and it was a nice event, and I would gladly go down to the Bronx again to perform. It was.
You don't go down to the Bronx; you go up to the Bronx.
Up to the Bronx. Well,
I
tell you what, that New York traffic is no joke.
Down to the boogie down Bronx, but no, go ahead.
Okay, well, yeah, but I'll tell you what, that New York traffic is no joke getting to the Bronx.
Oh no, yeah. I what's sad? 13 years living in New York, I probably could count how many times I went to the Bronx on like one hand.
Really?
I was not good with the Bronx, but I did go to the botanical gardens there, and they are lovely.
Really?
Even though I was really close and lived by the ones in Brooklyn, which I visited a lot, but I did go to the Bronx Zoo. And
I drove up there, and let me tell you something. Driving up there is like being in a battle.
Oh yeah, it's not for the faint of heart. I worry. I don't know whether I would be able to survive New York traffic. I kind of lost my edge down here in North Carolina. I remember
I still got my edge.
I remember when I first moved down here, and I used to honk at people, and my father was like, "Oh no, you can't do that around here because these people carry guns in their car." And I'm like, I'm used to New York speed. You gotta move. Come on, keep it. I don't know. It's just something about it. It's kind of weird. I can't really describe it. But I just had an awareness of almost like a 360 camera in my head without having a 360 camera. And that's kind of how you have to drive in New York. So
yes, that's exactly how you have to drive in New York.
It's kind of like the city itself. I think people either love it or hate it.
I had so many people cut in front of me, and
you can't be half-hearted about it.
Yeah, it was.
You either go with it or you don't. But no, that is truly exciting, and worth some hand claps and applause that you got to perform with Grandmaster Flash, and that's
Melle, not Flash, Melle.
Oh, I'm sorry, Melle. I'm
the one that did the Shaka Khan rap "When I Feel for You."
Nice.
And I asked them a very important question. They had a song out back in the day.
I'm just glad you're here with me this Saturday, because now that you're big time,
I'm not big time, but I asked them a very important question that was bothering me for years.
And, I'm sorry, Kenny. I gotta break the fourth wall, because for some reason I'm staring at the microphone instead of the camera. I'm having a moment. It's just been that kind of day. I'm like talking all in the mic and staring at it like.
Yeah, are you okay? Are you okay?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really.
But no, I asked them a very important question. They had a hit Grandmaster Melle and the Furious Five back after they, dumped Grandmaster Flash, I guess, is Grandmaster Melle and Furious 5. They had a hit called "We Don't Work for Free."
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to him. I said, I got a question. I said, that song, we don't work for free. I love that song. People don't talk about that song enough. He goes, no, you're right. They don't. I said, who's singing on that? He goes, that's the brother. And I forgot what he told me what the brother's name was. It'll come back to me. But he goes, yo, man, that's a good question, man, because nobody really asked about that song. So, we're sitting there chatting.
So in other words, he didn't know himself.
He knew. He told me. I just forgot because I'm old. Just like he's old, I'm old. I forgot. Okay. Chris somebody. It was Chris somebody. But we'll get back to that. But our list today is the most influential Black people, Black performers and singers and everything in music. And at the top of my list, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on these guys.
Can I ask a question? Because I know, I want to ask this because once you start on your list, you want to roll through them. And I do want to ask, what do you think, and we'll think about it as we go through these names, what do you think it is that makes these people on this list so influential? What's the one key ingredient?
Talent.
Mm-hmm.
Talent and what they give to the genre, what they give to the art. All the people on my list, I'm looking at them, and it's the outstanding talent. And
so it's not. So you're either born with it, or
they're born with it, and a lot of these people are innovative.
It's not the 10,000 hours rule from Malcolm Gladwell that they've spent this time perfecting their craft, or they innately born with this talent.
A lot of these people perfected their craft, but some of these people just have the raw talent and the charisma, and they have a lot of these people have the a lot of people on this list are just like, they just have the creativity to be different and come out with something that you go, wait a minute, what is that? So I'm going to start the list off with the Last Poets. Not just because it's a personal hero, that group is a personal hero of mine, but you have the Last Poets, and then you also have people like Gil Scott-Heron. Today, the spoken word community, there's a lot of spoken word. I mean, they even had somebody on America's Got Talent doing spoken word. And it was guys, hey, Steve, it was guys like, the Last Poets and Gil Scott-Heron that kind of brought that out and made it possible for people to be doing spoken word today. Not rap, but spoken word. Total big difference. So, and usually in spoken word, and especially like, in the case if you ever get a chance to listen to any Last Poets,
that Last Poets stuff,
giving a message.
That's hardcore.
Yeah, it's giving a message. It's letting you know like what's going on, because that's a poet's job. Like, what's going on in society today? What do the people want to hear about? What do the people want to speak about? We are like, poets are like the avatars for the community. And we're the ones that's going to put ourselves in. And that's the way it's always been with singers and poets throughout the ages, So the Last Poets.
Garut. Is it, how do you say that word? Garut? The storytellers?
Yeah. I don't know how you say that word. I'm just agreeing with you.
All right. And as it should be. Just agree with me.
Just agree with you.
Just let's make everybody's life easier. Always agree with Kathy.
Yeah, always agree with Kathy. The next person I have here is Sister Rosetta Tharpe.
Oh, what's cool? We did a bunch of like 1 minute TikTok style videos for Juneteenth, for the Juneteenth committee, so that people could scan a QR code and watch the video. And one of the people we did a video on was Sister Rosetta Tharpe. So why was she so influential? And actually, I think, was it Elvis or?
Let me see. She influenced Elvis, J. Lee Lewis, Eric Clapton, Little Richard, Johnny Cash, Carl Perkins, Chuck Berry, and Jimi Hendrix. With the way she played, the guitar, and the way she did things with the guitar, she passed away in 1973. But this is a Black woman who did gospel recordings, but the way she played the guitar. And I remember a couple of months ago seeing a video of her playing in front of her audience, and she was dynamic. She was really dynamic. Now I'm going to go really old school on you. Old school on you.
Okay.
Scott Joplin, the king of ragtime.
Oh God, that's like the only few bars I can play on the piano. Of entertainer, and that's it.
Well, here's the thing about Scott Joplin. Although he was a good composer, a lot of people at the time say he was a mediocre player. A lot of things that he composed, like The Entertainer, and there's a classic one that they finally did, the Maple Leaf Rag, which became the genre's first and most influential hit. He could compose these things, but playing them live, he was decent at it, but he wasn't a really good player. He also was one of the composers early on that taught a lot of other ragtime artists how to do their craft.
Hey, I was letting you go with it. I mean, you made the list. I'm just here. The thing about Aretha, she was the queen of soul. And she was one of the people who was able to, and what made her so influential was that she was able to take the gospel sound and make it to R&B. And not only that, her along with Sam Cooke. There were other artists that did that as well, like folks like Sam Cooke and even Ray Charles took a lot of his cadence and a lot of his chords and things from gospel music. And I guess it wasn't until I watched the movie Respect and really got a sense from that movie. And I know my mother's told me about it because she has read, Aretha's autobiography, that how much of a influence she had as far as, creating the sound. Not just because I think, especially in that time from the 50s and 60s, a lot of women just showed up to the studio and they pretty much sang whatever was in front of them. But, they're the innovators, the influencers are those people who could kind of craft what was going on behind the scenes as far as with the music, how it's presented, how to make things happen, almost serving in a producer category. And I know she's not on your list, but I would also throw Dinah Washington in that category.
I had a feeling you would.
She, was not just a voice, although she had a magnificent voice, but she was also producing and working the behind the scenes, and one of the first artists to do so at a time when women didn't do that, and especially Black women didn't do that.
Yes,
so that should be noted. What's up, Mr. Flores? Thanks for hanging out with us. We are talking influencers of Black music, and who's next on our list, Kenny?
Next we have, we're going to go back a little bit more again. We're going to go back to Duke Ellington. Now, there's a lot of Black composers, Cab Calloway, but Duke Ellington was that guy. He was a Duke. He had a very big impact early on in jazz. So you had guys like Cab Calloway and things like that come along and do their thing. So, and think about Duke Ellington, he had a 50-year career span. 50 years in the business.
Wow.
So, Duke Ellington.
Everything from the Cotton Club to Janet Jackson's All Right video.
Duke Ellington was in that.
Oh, that was Cab Calloway. Sorry.
Was Cab Calloway.
I got the wrong guy. Sorry.
Yeah, Cab Calloway.
I messed up again. Like I said, it was a long day. I did a lot of work. I was out in the sun way too long. You want to see my tan line?
No.
Please?
No.
I need to show somebody my tan line. Oh, you can't even see it.
No, you can't.
The lights. It's the lights. Oh well. I'll take a picture next time.
Okay. You do that. You take a picture.
All right.
Next we'll go to a wop wop blue ball wop bam boom.
Tutti Frutti on Rudy.
On
Okay.
Rudy. Tutti Frutti on Rudy.
You know what? Just as a side note, last week I was at a conference, and they're going over a lot of things. But one of the things to break up, the monotony and come back from a break to get everybody re-engaged after lunch, they did like a musical trivia where you had to know not just the artist and song, but you had to know the year. And wow, that's hard because
Year's hard.
Yeah, it was short songs like Born to Run and just really Tiny Dancer. But what was killing us was getting the year right, because that's how you got all your points. But anyway,
Tiny Dancer was the 70s though.
72. I actually got that year right. I was like, yeah.
Really?
Who is next on our list of influencers?
But we just started talking about Little Richard.
Little Richard. Oh yes.
King of rock and roll. And
I'm not afraid to tell you that he was an influencer.
No, he's not afraid to tell you. Every portrayal of Little Richard in the movies, everybody got on spot on, because when you did the interview, you saw the interviews, he had little names for people. Seemed like he was like a funny and fun guy to be around that had a lot of good stories. And Little Richard didn't pass away till 3 years ago in 2020. But imagine that much knowledge of everybody that he had from the 50s and the 60s and even the 40s. And, he had Jimi Hendrix in his band, along with James Brown. He had, he was one of the people who, started, I believe he had something to do with James Brown getting started off. And he was the originator and the innovator, if you asked Little Richard. But a lot of things you wouldn't have a lot of the rock and roll if it wasn't for Little Richard.
Oh, no doubt. And I think what is nice too is that a lot of those rock and roll artists realize that, and they will acknowledge that and give him his props. But again, like you said, during his lifetime, he wasn't afraid to take his props or let you know that he was doing props.
Not at all. And
we're talking about Black music influencers. If there's one that that we haven't hit on the list yet, put it in the comments, because it'll either be coming up or we will definitely like to talk about it to make sure that we're leaving no stone uncovered.
Yes. Next we'll go to Muddy Waters. If anybody's seen Cadillac Records, the movie Cadillac Records, you would have a little back history on Muddy Waters. Muddy Waters was very influential, and this is going to be surprising. And this is one of the things I've learned throughout my years that I had to learn early. A lot of the British artists were influenced by the Black R&B artist and blues artist, whereas the Rolling Stones actually got their name from one of Muddy Waters' songs. And you have people like Eric Clapton and Led Zeppelin and AC/DC saying that he's the most formative, influence in their lives, because, even later in years, Muddy Waters found out that when he thought his career was over in the States, he went over to Europe and England, and they were like, "Oh, Muddy Waters," So right. It's but when you say blues, yes, you say B.B. King, but you also say Muddy. You say we all say Muddy Waters.
All right.
And that's going to come first. Yeah. So number 12, which should be number 1 on my list, but I just did this the way it came out. But number 12 is going to be Prince.
Oh, yes.
Influential. And this is why, because this is in my lifetime. And I'm going to tell you that Prince is more influential because he did something in modern time that Jimi Hendrix did in the 60s. He showed us that because we're Black, we don't always have to play R&B the stereotypical way. You can add a little rock to it. You could blast on that guitar. You could do certain things. You could be a little different. And Prince was one of those people who made entertainment different, especially with his showmanship and everything. He was one of those people he was one of those people who, and Prince is one of those artists who early on told you that you don't have to be beholden to a label. Get your own publishing rights, you know?
Yes. So he was pushing boundaries, not just with the music, but also with the business aspect of it, which I think a lot of people, you know, there are a river of sad stories about people who have been taken advantage of and who have lost the rights to their music and publishing rights and different kind of things. And again, when he went through that period of being not Prince, but the artist formerly known as Prince, or the glyph symbol that he went by for a time, that he was standing his ground, and again, eventually broke free of his contract and was able to make music on his terms. The only not bad, but sad part is, I know with his passing and with, you know, the estate, I guess, being split among his family, I'm sure there will be people, or we'll reach a point where we'll be turning on commercials and just seeing Prince songs used, you know, for commercial, or either released from his vault that, again, it was not his intention to share yet, but hey.
But from what I heard from, I think it was Jimmy Jam did an interview and goes, "You don't understand what's in the vault. There's so much stuff in the vault that was never published. That is just like spectacular that he just threw in there." And I for one would like to be somebody to just sit there for like as long as I can and just sit back and have somebody give me food and maybe give me a little porta potty right next to me, just so I can just sit there and listen to the vault. That's all I want to do. I just want to listen to the vault. That's all I want to do.
So yeah.
Give me one dying wish. You give me one dying wish.
Your bucket list would be to sit in the Prince vault and listen to all the uncut masters.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
I hear you.
Sign me up. Sign me up for the Prince vault and just let me listen.
That sounds like
next on our list is a living legend that's still alive, and Smokey Robinson.
Smokey.
Now okay. Motown was very influential, and yeah, you want to say my favorite Prince song?
I was hesitating whether to put that comment up there, because I'm like, that could take us onto a rabbit hole.
I got so many.
Nowhere else. Steve, why'd you pull that trigger?
Yeah, Steve, why'd you pull that trigger? I got so many though, Steve. It's kind of hard to narrow it down. And my favorite Prince song would probably be something that no one's ever heard of. So like,
hey, he did a song. In the interest of being interesting, and again, not having people click away, of his most popular works, what is your favorite? Don't go all obscure on me now.
Of his most popular works?
Yes. Pick one.
I don't know.
Actually,
Sexy MF.
Oh, okay. Well, when I was in college, I did a radio show, and it was called DMSR. So that's one of my favorites: dance, music, sex, romance. Although the title was DMSR, and that's
a little obscure.
It is. It is. Okay. I'm being a little pretentious, aren't I?
Yes.
My other favorite is "How Come You Don't Call Me Anymore," which isn't necessarily popular, but it is popular because it was the B-side of "When Doves Cry." So
you know what's growing on me more, the more that I didn't like as much, but what's growing on me more is "If I Was Your Girlfriend."
She like this with me. DMSR. She knows what I'm talking about. Dance, music.
Yeah, that's just women sticking together. She don't really like that.
Anyway.
So next on is, like I said, was Smokey Robinson. And yeah, Motown was formed by Barry Gordy.
Before we move on, because Scooby Life is asking, what is your obscure Prince, favorite Prince song? And for some reason in my head, all I can hear is Starfish and Coffee. But
no,
that's
a song by Prince called Joint to Joint is one of my obscure ones that not too many people would know about. And it's on the Emancipation album. There's a lot of songs. The whole Emancipation album is my jam, but there's a song on there called Joint to Joint, and there's another song on there called White Mansion. They are great songs that a lot of people haven't heard of. And
I'm gonna have to Spotify that tonight. Then.
Yeah, Spotify that tonight.
I gotta. Is that a thing? I'm making that a thing. I gotta Spotify that. Anyway, Spotify
tonight. So back to Smokey. Barry Gordy formed Motown, and he's innovative for doing that. But a lot of the songs were written by Smokey in those days. So, and Smokey's voice and his demeanor and the way he carried on, it makes him iconic. A lot of people try to sing. And Smokey has done things recently in the last 20 years with other artists like Anderson .Paak and Rick James. We know the thing he did with Rick James like 20, 30 years ago.
He's an influencer because he influenced, and this is an 80s callback, the band ABC.
When Smokey sings.
Yes. Yeah.
I hear violins.
When
Smokey sings, I hear everything.
I forget everything.
I forget everything. Yeah. So,
she's packing her bags and she's spreading her wings. Anyway.
So he wrote for the Temptations. He wrote for the Temptations, the Supremes, the Marvin Gaye and Mary Wells, and other, and other people like that. He's on par with writing songs. He's on par with people like the Beatles and things like that, like with songwriting and things like that. So, Smokey Robinson. Next, Rastaman. We are going to Bob Marley.
Don't worry about a thing. Every little thing gonna be all right.
Be all right. Yes. Turn your lights down low. Bob Marley. Yeah, it's the Emancipation album, Scooby Life. Bob Marley. I guess, in our culture, in American culture, he was one of those people who helped put reggae on the map a little bit more. And he was able to join people together with that.
The one band he was definitely an influence for was the Police, because if you listen to all their songs, they wrote in a very reggae style. I think it's and I don't know music, so forgive me, all you music people out there, but isn't it like most songs are 4 beats per measure, but reggae
a 4/4 beat.
Or 4/4 beat. Reggae, isn't that 3/4 or?
It's different. I'm not sure. Okay. I guess now I'm considered a musician, but I'm not sure. So
I can't play your bass.
No, you cannot play my bass.
Well, actually, it's my bass you're playing, but okay.
Yes. I know it's your bass I'm playing.
Bob Marley, I just like the godfather of like reggae, and I know Peter Tosh, and there are other reggae artists, but as far as having an influence and an impact on even other genres, because I think that's something too. I think a lot of these people that we're talking about, they influence Black music, but I think they also their reach expanded, because when some of the people that we're mentioning are, like you said, the British invasion and different things happened because those folks were listening to this music. And I hate to sound like this old person, But some of the music today, it's just not. I haven't found anybody I've been able to connect with. Maybe I'm not listening to enough
Yes.
music.
You are sounding like an old person.
I am sounding like an old person. Okay.
Moving right along. We're going to go to. Before Kathy breaks out of Kane and Walker, we are going to go out to. We're going to go to our next one, which is Jimi Hendrix. Jimi Hendrix is influential in a lot of ways because I think without a Jimi Hendrix, you wouldn't have like a Lenny Kravitz. You wouldn't have a color. You wouldn't have a
You probably wouldn't have had a Prince.
You probably wouldn't have had a Prince. You wouldn't have had a what's the cult of personality? What is that?
In Living Color.
Yeah, Living Color. You wouldn't have a Living Color.
No,
You wouldn't
yeah,
have a Lenny Kravitz.
Color.
You know, you might not have a
Whatever happened to them?
I don't know, but you know my favorite song from them was
I don't
Glamour
know.
Boys. Glamour Boys.
I like the Glamour Boys, but Letter to a Landlord is excellent. You can tear a building down, but you can't erase.
Beep yourself. Beep yourself. Beep yourself.
You know, and
Jimi Hendrix is well known.
Anyway,
Jimi Hendrix is well known for his rendition in Woodstock of the national anthem, which is very iconic, and that's something people aspire to do. Next on our list,
Ed Brown is in the house. Ed, hey Ed, he's late to the party, but he mentioned
Nile Rodgers.
And I don't think
you know what? Nile Rodgers was on my list, and you are correct. I did not put him on the list, but he was one of the people I passed by because I didn't know if, but yeah, Nile Rodgers is very influential. It's a man is still playing music today and influencing people. So
say chic. Freak out. Oh, sorry. I'm tired. Hey, I was out in the hot 90-degree weather putting together a
Hey, Ed Brown. Did you see my picture of Grandmaster Melle? You see me hanging out with the Grandmaster Melle, man? It's like a jungle sometimes. It'll make you wonder why I keep going on. It was dope. You got to talk about it, Ed. I was hanging out with him, buddy. You go see him in concert. I was hanging out. I was standing right next to him. Yo, we both got the braided beard, So anyway, yeah, that was him. That was really him in that picture. You said, yes, that was Grandmaster Melle.
All right.
So next on our list is the legendary Michael Jackson.
Of course.
You can't do a list of like this sort without doing Michael Jackson being very influential.
What's your favorite Michael Jackson song of all time?
I think we went over this before. My favorite Michael Jackson songs are songs with him singing with his brothers, the Jackson 5.
And actually, my favorite Jackson 5 song,
Jackson wasn't
even Michael singing the lead.
Singing with the Jackson 5.
Oh, that's right. You and your harmonies. I don't know if we're just talking solo material though. If we're just talking solo material, because I Am Love, and that's one of my favorite Jackson songs. But anyway, and that's not even Michael singing lead. I think it's Marlon or somebody like that. Something's in my eye. I apologize, but okay, it's the Falling in Love. But that's all right. Go ahead, move on with the list.
But Michael Jackson, very influential. One of the most influential things that Michael did in his career, as time moved on, MTV became a big thing, and Michael was very influential in making his videos epic. Like you went home because like the new Michael Jackson video was shown at 8:00 tonight on MTV. Everybody was home at 8:00 watching the new Michael Jackson video. Thriller, Beat It, no matter what it was.
What Roots was to the 70s, Michael Jackson was to the 80s. But yes. I remember watching Thriller and like, oh yeah. Well, okay, I was a little scared, but I'm a punk. I can't do the scary movies. I'm not like Ed. I'm not tuned in. But I remember, yeah, you wanted to be home for those things.
Yeah, you wanted to be home to watch those. And then Janet Jackson actually kind of followed her brother's lead in some respects, and when she made these great epic videos also. But he would make these videos, Smooth Criminal. He would make these videos that were like movies. And he was the king of pop. He's that guy who's bigger than the Beatles. He's the guy that walked into a room, like they walked into a concert, and you got people passing out and being escorted out and everything, people crying in his presence. I think later on in life he got a bad rap because of his popularity. I think that
I think he might have been a prisoner a little bit of his own fame.
Yes,
I think
he was. He definitely was a prisoner of his own fame. And also, too,
might have also suffered at the hands of his family, and that some serious psychological damage was done. Because you got to think about it. Who's going to let the moneymaker, the obvious star go? So we always were blaming Joe Jackson, but I don't think it's all him. Yeah, I think everybody in that family might have been doing a little Michael manipulation to make him stay. But that is a topic for another. We could do a whole.
Yeah, that's a Michael Jackson show. And Scooby Life says that MJ was the first Black artist on MTV in 1983, and I believe that's probably true. And Michael also did a lot. A lot of people in the Black community blame Michael for his skin tone and him changing his skin lighter. But Michael also did a lot of work for the NAACP. Michael did a lot of petitioning for Black music in our time. He did a lot of outspoken things. And some people say that was one of his downfalls because the industry was after him because he was outspoken about Black music artists and Black music and our contribution to the music world. So, that's Michael Jackson. The next influential person is P-Funk, Uncut Funk, the bomb.
Okay. I was so obsessed with Parliament Funkadelic in the 7th grade. I just couldn't get enough of that whole album. Make my funk the P-Funk. I want to get my funk. I don't know. I don't know where that obsession came.
So we're talking about George Clinton.
You know what? That's why I miss albums. Because part of it was having a whole album. Because, they were the album cover. There was just a lot going on. You need to look at that whole thing. You need to pull it out. You need to read your liner notes.
Let's put it in perspective. Let's put it in perspective. This is a group that came out on stage, and one of the guys wore a diaper.
So that was way before Flavor Flav. And
and it was and so George Clinton is on our list because he brought on the funk. He was one of the guys who brought on the funk. Scooby Life is still a Parliament Funkadelic fanatic. Yes. Flashlight, I Will Never Dance.
I will never dance. I am Sir Nose devoid
of funk.
Now that was some good times.
November 20th, 1955. Bo Diddley became the first Black performer on the most popular program in American television, the Ed Sullivan Show.
The Ed Sullivan Show.
Bo Diddley, wow. And November 20th is my birthday, not 1955, but 11 years later in 66.
You could be that old.
I am not that old. I was born in 66. Thank you very little. Next one on this is Grandmaster Flash. Not Grandmaster Melle, but Grandmaster Flash in the Furious 5. And I guess Grandmaster Flash is on this list because this is like the first, before DJ Jazzy Jeff, this is the first DJ that made a hit. And Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5 were the first hip-hop group to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I didn't realize they were.
Of course, this guy belongs on the list, Grandmaster Flash. Next, we're going to hit Billie Holiday. And you got to put somebody like Billie Holiday as an influential person in music because that voice and I don't know if you see if you saw the movie about Billie Holiday versus the United States of America. But
I did watch that.
yes, one of the problems she had in life was singing "Strange Fruit," which is actually written by a white man.
Oh wow!
And she got in trouble for singing the song because they didn't want her to sing a song called "Strange Fruit" because it's about lynchings and it was against lynchings. Billie Holiday had a very troubled life, as we all know. Um, but her song "Strange Fruit" was greatly connected to the civil rights movement, and Billie Holiday is an icon that a lot of women fashion their careers after, singing wise, vocally wise. Next on our list is you can't have a list like this without having Marvin Gaye.
Oh gosh, yes, Marvin Gaye.
And Marvin Gaye, who I guess one of his biggest albums is Inner City Blues. Which was very controversial at the time. It was the 70s. He stopped making these happy love songs and things like that. And he wanted to make something a little bit deeper. And when he did that, he made Inner City Blues. And it's so, the album is so popular, it was even mentioned on a superhero movie in Captain America.
I knew you were going to work at a superhero.
Yes.
Because you said Marvin Gaye.
Yes,
that's what I thought of.
Because in Captain America Winter Soldier, he meets the Falcon, and Falcon knows that Steve Rogers has been on ice all these years, and he's trying to catch up on some things, and he goes, "Listen to Inner City Blues." So he's on your left, he's listening to Inner City Blues,
and I know because I'm going to pop up here with Scooby Life. What Scooby Life said about Soul Train first airing in 1971, October 2nd, featured Gladys Knight and the Pips singing Friendship Train. And hey, this is going to be my hot take, but prove me wrong. I dare you. I feel that the Gladys Knight and the Pips version of Heard It Through the Grapevine is much better than Marvin Gaye's.
I told you we had this conversation before on here. I told you you need to listen to the remix of that song, which is slamming.
By who?
That song it's Gladys Knight and the Pips.
Oh,
but
really?
It's remixed.
Okay,
it's remixed with like the bass and the drum beat, and it is awesome. And
you said that is that on Spotify?
It's on the album of Motown remixes.
Okay, but can I Spotify it?
Yes.
All right.
Definitely. Motown remixes.
I got to Spotify.
Heard It Through the Grapevine. It is awesome. It's totally going to change your world. But Marvin Gaye is on that list, and next we're coming to we can't have this list without hitting some jazz artists, and we did hit we did Billie Holiday, who's considered jazz artist, but Charlie Parker. And this is a guy who's influenced the other jazz artists you had to come behind him, like, Miles Davis and Thelonious Monk and Dizzy Gillespie.
Why do they call him Bird?
I don't know why they call him Bird. I don't see why they call him Bird.
Just because he liked to eat chicken. But
they call him Bird because he liked to eat chicken?
I mean, according to LA Story, no, La La Land, but I could be wrong. But go ahead.
Okay. Well, he was the man who invented bebop and therefore modern jazz. So that's what he's known as, Charlie Parker. And then sometimes on my Alexa, I'll say, "Alexa, play me some Bird, play me some Charlie Parker," and I'll listen to Charlie Parker all night.
So if I say that to Siri, will she do that?
I don't know.
I don't have Alexa hooked up. Hey Siri, play me some Bird.
Can't say Bird. I say Charlie Parker.
Oh, I gotta say, they won't know. Oh, now it's playing woods and music from the forest.
Yeah.
Hey Siri, stop that. I'm in the middle of a show. Hey Siri, stop the music. Oh my gosh. I gotta go have words with Siri.
Yes, yeah, that's what it says. But next we're gonna go on to Big Joe Turner. And Big Joe Turner was a he started right. He's known for starting rock and roll. Of course, Little Richard is the architect of rock and roll, but you had to have somebody started out. And Big Joe Turner was I'm sorry, I'm looking at my notes here, but Big Joe Turner was an artist who I believe played guitar and kind of started rock and roll off. He was given a showcase at Carnegie Hall in '38. Big Joe Turner. He was a very influential to a lot of guitar players
So you
back in
mean
the
rock
day.
and roll didn't start like they said on Back to the Future with
No.
somebody called him his cousin Chuck.
It's your cousin Marvin. Marvin Barry.
It's your cousin Marvin.
You know that new sound you're looking for? No, that's not how it went.
Okay, that's not how it went.
Next on our list is Ella Fitzgerald.
Oh, Ella.
Interesting story about Ella Fitzgerald. Marilyn Monroe wanted Ella Fitzgerald to play an all-white venue in Hollywood, and they wouldn't let her in there. And Marilyn Monroe said, if you get her in here, I will be there every night and you will get free publicity. But you got to have this woman in here. She is fantastic. And sure enough, they got Ella Fitzgerald in there, and Marilyn Monroe showed up every night. And after that, after that, Ella Fitzgerald never played any small venues again.
Wow.
She never played. Now, Ella Fitzgerald is her jazz, the voice in jazz, and when she starts scatting. One of my favorite recordings of Ella Fitzgerald is her live in Berlin doing Mac the Knife, where she improvised half the song. And it was outstanding. It was very raw. And I like to hear things like that from back in those days. And but that's Ella Fitzgerald, and she is a voice to be reckoned with in the time. And that's when I have someone who recently passed away. And that's Tina Turner, the Mighty Burner, who showed women that rock and roll is everyone's sport, not just for men.
I like the way you
I've never seen What's Love Got to Do with It. But the story of
I see. You know what? I need some credit because I didn't say anything about revoking your black card or your pop culture card. I just let that sit there. I just let that sit out there.
I know,
and float on airwaves.
And I appreciate that so much. But Tina Turner is the Mighty Burner.
Credit every once in a while, I'm
Tina
just saying.
Turner,
That's all I'm saying. But before we get to the end of the list,
who crossed over on genres, who's able to make a comeback. And she's influential because she was able to show women that it's never too late to make a comeback. It's never too late to do what you do. Kirsten, it's not funny. Don't laugh. It's never too late to do what you do. You can always come back and do what you do. Now, she came from...
How many times can you say do in one sentence?
I don't know.
Okay, well, before he does any of those other things that he's going to do, and before we finish our show, we just want to say thank you for hanging out with us on a Saturday night. We do appreciate it, and we really appreciate it if you can hit that thumbs up. Hopefully you're watching us on our YouTube channel, Kathy and Kenny Explain Pop Culture. If not, check that out. Subscribe. We really appreciate it. You can always support the show by buying us a coffee. Check out the links in the description. And we also want to send a big shout out to those of you listening to us on the podcast. Visit our website, kathyandkenny.com, and you can learn more about that and listen to old episodes, as well as our friends Tuesday night tuning in on Indie 101.5, Who's Got Next Radio. We're happy to be a part of that family as well. So again, if we're a part of that family, you guys, as our pop culture kids, are a part of that family too. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for hanging out with us on a Saturday. All right.
We'll
My
wrap it up.
brother.
We're over our time, but we'll wrap it up on this. We did Tina Turner as an influential. Next person, somebody you might not have heard of too much of, but Frankie Knuckles. Frankie Knuckles
I have no idea who that is.
Frankie Knuckles is the godfather of house music. The godfather of house music.
Oh, of house music?
House music.
Okay, so you lost me. I gotta play my old person card now because I had never heard of Frankie Knuckles. But go ahead, talk about him.
Well, there's not much to talk about. I mean, he is the godfather of house music. He helped influence the EDM scene as well as other subgenres of electronic music, while also influencing pop acts such as Michael Jackson and Diana Ross. So he kind of helped get that house sound together that we have, because house music is a very big component in music genre today. So there's other people that see. Kirsten knows who Frankie Knuckles is.
Okay. Hey,
and
like
there's other people I did not. There's other people I did not mention. I forgot. I thought I put them on the list, but very influential person, Stevie Wonder. We didn't hit Stevie Wonder. Stevie Wonder is very influential. I mean, everybody I think can. I don't think there's a person who hasn't heard of or listened to Songs of the Key of Life.
Oh my gosh! I know there might be better albums, interventions. I'm not sure, but Songs in the Key of Life it's
kind of legendary. It's kind of legendary.
Yeah, that's a classic. That's a classic.
Okay, we're over our time, so if you want to play that video,
and we gotta wrap it up. I'm gonna have to edit the heck out of this before I send it over.
If you want to play that video, if you want to play our video for our listeners, and you can edit it out later, you can play the video of me playing the bass guitar.
I was trying to download it. I wasn't able to download it. I would have to share screen. Okay. We're at the end of the hour anyway. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. It's Kathy and Kitty explaining pop culture. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We appreciate you hanging out with us. And we'll be back next Saturday. I don't know. Are we going to do franchises?
Yeah, we're doing franchises.
I feel bad because like one of the biggest franchises, and I think I've only seen one movie. So do I have to watch the movie this week?
No, I'm not doing all that.
Okay. Although I did, you know what? I rewatched Avatar because I wanted to watch the new one, Way of the Water. Although Avatar does not technically qualify. Because when we talk about franchises, we need 3 or more. Because 2 is just a sequel. Anybody can do
I've
2.
never seen any Indiana Jones movies.
You are kidding. What?
I've never seen any Indiana Jones movies.
I don't even think I know you. Who are you? Where is my brother? How could you have not seen any? All right, we got a lot of work to do, so you need to go. You need to do some homework. I'm sorry, we can't talk franchises if you can't be at least.
We're gonna talk franchises.
At least week. Indiana Jones literate. Come on,
Kirsten. Don't give me that. Don't give me that, Kirsten. I don't want to hear it.
Oh my
God! You
God.
just Stevie Life. I don't want to hear either one of you guys. I don't want to hear it. I've never seen the Indiana Jones movie, and I'm okay for that.
Oh. Pop culture card revoked. We're talking franchises next week. 3 or more movies. We got your Star Wars. We got your Harry Potters. I
have seen all the Fast and Furious movies, though.
I don't think we'll be talking Fast and Furious. And of course, you know we've got to include Die Hard. That's next Saturday on Kathy and Kenny Explain Pop Culture. We'll see you then. Peace.
Peace. God bless your soul and keep living. Peace.
Thank you for geeking out with Kathy and Kenny on Kathy and Kenny Explain Pop Culture.